confirmed number of new coronavirus cases reported in Los Angeles County in the last 24 hours is 996, with 6 additional deaths. Here in Torrance, 17 additional cases were reported with no new deaths. Welcome to COVID-19 Today. I'm Leslie Robbins. It's Monday, September 20th. Pfizer says its COVID-19 vaccine works for younger children. The pharmaceutical company made the announcement today, saying its phase 2-3 trial showed that the vaccine was safe and generated a robust antibody response in kids ages 5 to 11. Now, these are the first results of its kind released for this age group for a U.S. COVID-19 vaccine. The data has not yet been peer-reviewed or published. The trial included more than 2,200 kids who got 2 doses of the vaccine 21 days apart. The trial used a 10 microgram dose, smaller than the 30 microgram dose that those ages 12 and over currently use. Pfizer plans to submit their findings to the U.S. Food and Drug Administration for emergency use authorization soon. FDA officials have said that once data is submitted, the agency could authorize a vaccine for the younger children in weeks. Meanwhile, Moderna is also studying its vaccine in the 5 to 11-year-olds, and both companies are testing the shots on those as young as 6 months old. Results are expected later this year. Well, a vaccine booster for the general public may not be in the immediate future. A panel of advisors to the FDA recommended against the approval of the Pfizer vaccine booster for people 16 years and older. Friday's 16-2 decision against the booster was followed by another major announcement. The FDA officials voted 18-0 in support of the agency authorizing a Pfizer booster shot for people 65 and older or at high risk of severe COVID-19. The FDA then polled the panel members for advice on other groups that may be considered for an additional dose. While not official, they all supported the authorization of a booster for healthcare workers or others at higher exposure risk due to their jobs. White House Chief Medical Advisor Dr. Anthony Fauci defended the FDA's panel's decision to reject the broad booster authorization. He said he would support a third dose if future data shows it is effective. Vaccinated comedian Chris Rock announced that he has COVID-19. The 56-year-old comedian wrote on Twitter, "Hey guys, I just found out I have COVID. Trust me, you don't want this. Get vaccinated." Rock called himself, quote, "Two Shots Rock" on The Tonight Show in May, referring to the fact that he got fully vaccinated. He then clarified, saying he actually got the one-shot Johnson & Johnson vaccine. Rock even admitted to skipping the line to get his shot before it was his time to do so. He told talk show host Jimmy Fallon that he used his celebrity status to get his dose ahead of schedule. Another high-profile COVID announcement took place over the weekend. 2 of California Governor Gavin Newsom's 4 children tested positive for the coronavirus. The family has been following all COVID protocols, and since their kids' diagnoses, Governor Newsom, his wife, and the other 2 children have tested negative for the virus. It's unclear at this time which of the kids tested positive. The governor's spokesperson says the Newsoms continue to support masking for unvaccinated individuals indoors to stop the spread and advocate for vaccinations as the most effective way to end this pandemic. Unvaccinated students in LA County can now continue attending in-person classes even after becoming exposed to someone with COVID-19. The LA County Public Health Department modified the quarantine option for this group of children, but it comes with strict guidelines. For example, the unvaccinated student who has had exposure to a confirmed COVID-19 case can continue in-person instruction at school, but must restrict all activities outside of, quote, what's necessary for their academic instruction. Those who qualify for the modified quarantine option include those who had the exposure at school, where both individuals were masked during the entire exposure period, and when the close contacts were not a part of a defined outbreak. Now, a defined outbreak is when 3 or more linked cases with a probable transmission in schools or school activities occur. Schools and school districts are not required to offer the modified option and may choose to continue with the customary quarantine requirements. The modified quarantine announcement comes as coronavirus cases among children dropped about 40% over the past 3 weeks. LA County Public Health Director Dr. Barbara Ferrer says COVID-19 infections have been going down steadily among all pediatric age groups. She remains cautiously optimistic as most of the 1.5 million K through 12th graders have now returned to in-person learning. County statistics show that between August 15th and September 13th, almost 8,000 COVID infections occurred among all of the students in the county. The majority of those happened among students in the Los Angeles Unified School District, which is the largest school district in the state and the second largest in the country. Dr. Ferrer says getting vaccinated is the only way out of the pandemic and the best way to limit disruptions in school. She also adds that another major advantage of getting the shot is that the fully vaccinated students are more likely to stay in school after an exposure without a quarantine. All LAUSD students eligible to get the vaccine are required to get fully vaccinated by January 10th. District employees must also be vaccinated. President Joe Biden will ease foreign travel restrictions into the U.S. beginning November. The White House announced today that more visitors coming from other countries will be able to enter the U.S. as long as they have proof of vaccination and a negative COVID-19 test taken within 3 days of flight. President Biden also plans to tighten testing rules for unvaccinated American citizens who travel. They will need to be tested within a day before returning to the U.S. as well as after they arrive home. The White House says fully vaccinated passengers will not be required to quarantine. The new rules will replace a number of restrictions currently barring non-citizens who have been in certain countries in the past 14 days from entering the U.S. Some of those locations include China, the European Union, and South Africa. It would also allow families and others who have been separated by the travel restrictions for the past year and a half to plan for their reunions. The Centers for Disease Control and Prevention will also require airlines to collect contact information from international travelers to help with contact tracing. Shoppers are being urged to start their holiday shopping now. There has been an ongoing congestion problem at the ports of LA and Long Beach, and it could impact supply over the next few months. The number of ships waiting to dock reached record levels in the past few weeks, with almost 150 of them crowding the ports as of last week. 88 of them were waiting at anchor or in drift areas until berth assignments came in. Currently, the port does not have enough room in its terminals or rail cars to haul the containers away. Toy industry leaders say if you see toys that you think your kids would like for Christmas or Hanukkah, pick them up right away. They warn that shoppers can see a lack of variety as we get closer to the holidays. Large retailers such as Target and Walmart are trying to avoid shortages by shipping earlier this year, but the problems at the ports could extend into 2022. The Biden administration began notifying states last week of how many Afghan evacuees they should expect to receive in the coming weeks. The first group of 37,000 Afghans are slated to resettle all over the U.S., with California taking in the more than 52,000 of them, the most of any state. Because these individuals are not coming through the usual refugee process, caring for them has come with many legal and logistical obstacles. States that have a historically large number of Afghans who resettled in the U.S. over the last 20 years, including California, Maryland, Texas, and Virginia, are expected to welcome a disproportionate number of evacuees again. Meanwhile, Oklahoma, which so far only resettled a small number of Afghans, is expected to receive 1,800 new arrivals. Many of the new evacuees requested to be resettled in those states because they already have family and close friends living there. Those areas are also where resettlement agencies have a large presence and capacity. The Biden administration requested funding from Congress to help resettle 65,000 Afghans in the U.S. by the end of this month and 95,000 by September of next year. Friday's earthquake in the South Bay reminds us to stay prepared at all times. The 4.3 magnitude earthquake was reported just before 8 p.m. in Carson, and shaking was felt throughout the LA area, including a 3.0 aftershock around 11 p.m. The city of Torrance has resources online that can help you to prepare for an emergency, such as an earthquake. Here is a comprehensive list of what you can include in your preparedness kit at home. Gather a portable reserve of emergency supplies that will last at least 5 days. Now think essentials such as water, ready-to-eat food, medicine, batteries, and a battery-operated flashlight and radio. Blankets and sleeping bags, a fire extinguisher, and sanitation supplies, including large trash bags. That will be also very useful. And for tips on what to do during an earthquake, ready.gov/earthquakes has some great reminders. If you are in a car, pull over, stop, and set your parking brake. If you are in bed, turn face down and cover your head and neck with a pillow. If you are outdoors, stay outdoors, away from buildings. And if you are inside, do not run outside and avoid doorways. Doing drills could also keep us all safe and alert. Practice drop, cover, and hold on with family and coworkers regularly so that we know what to do when the next earthquake comes. Saturday, September 18th was Coastal Cleanup Day here in the city of Torrance, and lots of volunteers showed up to take part in the largest volunteer day in the world.
Last year, because of COVID, we were not able to do this, so this year at least the community is able to come out to do the beach cleanups.
Well, we started cleaning the alleys in downtown Torrance, and we found probably over 200, 300 cigarette butts and a bunch of plastic.
Probably just in the couple hours this morning, I already found about 25 to 30 pounds of trash and another 10 pounds of recycling.
We've really got a lot of trash, so if you ever need to talk trash, just call me or call Julie or call Leslie, and we can tell you everything we know about recycling and trash.
I'd just like to thank the community for showing up and making our community beautiful again. Thank you.
The city teamed up with Heal the Bay and California Coastal Commission to raise environmental awareness within the community of the detrimental effects that trash and marine debris can have on our environment. Through the Torrance Cares program, the city hosted 3 hybrid community cleanup sites at Torrance Beach, Sur La Brea Park, and downtown Torrance. Looks like they had a great attendance and a wonderful time doing some good in our community. Well, before we go, at the end of each program, we like to share more feel-good stories from our community, pictures, images, and videos that remind us of how resilient our community is and how Torrance truly cares. Last week was National Security Officer Appreciation Week, and a group of Torrance employees showed their support for their security specialist, Kevin Dees. Jill Reed shared this selfie with her coworkers and Kevin. She says Kevin is such a kind person who greets her with a smile every day. She also says he's nice to every person who visits City Hall. Now, she found out he loves the Twist Donut at Torrance Bakery. So she and her colleagues at the city manager's office got him that, along with a sandwich and a gift card and a thank you card signed by everyone, including the mayor. And inspired by their story, City Cable's Christine Lee dropped by as well to deliver another of his favorite donut and chat with him about what it means to be shown kindness during these difficult days.
Yes. I feel honored. Thank you so much.
I was just excited and surprised at the same time. This is an adverse time we were in. And adversity can be a good thing if you can handle it. It's a blessing behind adversity. So that's what I stress to people during this pandemic and this time. And just to be positive, stay focused, and it's going to go over. It's going to blow over in time.
Thank you, Kevin, for all that you do. Now, if you have a great story, upcoming event, a photo or video you'd like to share, email us at covid19today@torranceca.gov. We'd love to hear from you. Well, that is our update for COVID-19 today. We will see you back here tomorrow as Jin Chun brings you the latest. Please be safe, stay healthy, and thanks for tuning in. We'll see you next time.